Boom, shaka, lucka. Ladies and gentlemen, freaks and geeks, brothers and sisters around the world, it is your boy Crucial, aka the Esoteric Noetic, aka the Chocolate Nubian Sobrada from Ghana, West Africa. Dropping the wisdomatic truth bombs here in Melbourne, Australia, mate. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, click on the bell, tell your friends, tell your mom, drop some comments, let us know what it is. Let's get it. Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, boy, has it been a crazy week in politics. Do I smell hypocrisy or do I smell hypocrisy? First of all, we have a UK MP saying that important people shouldn't need to quarantine under COVID rules. Throughout history, we have had double standards for different groups of people. We had the patricians and the plebs in ancient Rome. We've had the whites, then the blacks, one set of rules for the white people, one set of rules for the black people, for the brown people. We've had a system of aristocracy where the ruling elite, the 1%, the rich, have one set of rules apply to them. And then, of course, the paupers, they're not able to get justice. And now things have culminated to this insane level where we have the politicians, this Orwellian enterprise known as the government. We have its constituents having a set of rules apply to the masses, and then another set of rules apply to them. And the worst thing is, whereas in the past people would just openly say that they were better, but here in the 21st century, ladies and gentlemen, the politicians present this narrative that they are just like you and me, that they have to apply by the same kind of rules. But lo and behold, we realize that they don't actually even believe that. A lot of them are just downright saying that, look, we're essential, we're special, and we do important work, therefore we have to have special considerations. And you plebs, well, you got a different set of rules. And the worst thing is we're paying them, ladies and gentlemen. Our taxation is going towards fueling these people that rule us. So regardless of whether or not you want these people even ruling you, you're indirectly supporting their rule. Anyway, we recently had the UK MP say important people shouldn't need to quarantine under COVID rules. So, the Conservative MP inadvertently provided an insight into the hypocrisy of lockdown when he said that people who are important shouldn't have to follow the same COVID-19 quarantine rules as the rest of the population. MP John Whittingdale was speaking about special measures that allow UEFA officials and multimillionaire football players to enter the UK to take part in the Euro 2020 final on July 11th. While ordinary Brits cannot even go on a holiday to most destinations and have to quarantine and return, the government has changed the rules to enable VIPs with a Euro 2020 invite to avoid having to self-isolate or quarantine when they arrive in the country. And what's interesting is that, granted, we have been doing this special consideration with people that are doing essential work. What we're seeing now, as far as individuals have special considerations, that's just an extension of this essential work thing. I mean, what are we saying when we say this, that essential workers have to get special consideration? We're saying that people that do a type of work that we deem as being important get more privileges than people that do a type of work that we deem as not being as important. So if you happen to be an entertainer, a performer that is not perhaps in the higher echelons of society, well, that's not essential work. Whereas if you're someone that is a banker or someone that works in a supermarket, well, we're going to call that essential. Isn't that just the same as saying someone is not as essential as another person, and we're just basing this on the kind of work that they do? I mean, we're all individuals, and if we believe in a free society, right, we should all be treated equally under the law. But what we're seeing now is this society where we give special consideration to people based off of the kind of work they do, based off of their vaccine status, based off of X, Y, and Z, and the list goes on. And then we move into tyranny, and we move further and further away from the ideal that Martin Luther King said not that long ago. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character, ladies and gentlemen. Your character, intrinsic qualities that are not determined by the kind of work that you do or whether or not you received a boom shakalaka, but by your moral fabric. And even then, the state does not have the right, outside of someone committing violence, to determine whether or not you can and cannot do things that are in line with living in the pursuit of your own happiness, provided you are not harming anyone else. But what we are seeing right now is this display of complete tyranny where the government is trying to control every aspect of your life, not based on the content of your character even, but based on whether or not it deems you to be essential. Crazy times, ladies and gentlemen. Here's what the media minister John Whittingdale thinks. We've always said that for some people who are important players, for instance, said Whittingdale. Host Kay Burley responded, so people who want to go on a holiday are not important. Is that what you're saying? The MP then attempted to deflect by saying the measures were only lifted for a limited number of people. And just in case you don't want to watch the video, the answer isn't that they think you are important, responded the outraged viewer on Twitter. This once again underscores the fact that the COVID-19 restrictions don't apply to the elite. Of course, they apply to you momos, to you normies, to you freaks, you conspiracy theorists. And this is what you're advocating for, ladies and gentlemen. For all you socialists, all you communists, all you people that want to do the right thing, they're advocating for the government to have a say in whether or not these conspiracy theorists get to live their lives, get to have their freedom. You're getting to say that these dictators get to arbitrarily to decide not just what rules apply to the people that you don't like, but to the people that you also like, yourself. I mean, you are not in the same camp as these elite, unfortunately, most of you. And you have to realize that when you are advocating for this tyranny, because you're so scared, oh no, what's going to happen to me and my family? You're going to find this tyranny making its way down, trickling eventually to you. For how long, you ask? 2 weeks to flatten the curve? I don't think so. Try permanently. And what's worse, ladies and gentlemen, is in the same week we've had another UK governmentalist, UK Health Secretary Matt Hancock, resigning after breaking his COVID rules, after being caught on camera kissing someone outside of his marital relationship. Oh, it seems that politicians are not the most trustworthy people. Well, I thought politicians were reliable. They do what is in the best interest of the entire community. They do the right thing. What's this? A politician is lying. A politician is doing something when he's saying something else. Is a hypocrite. So British Health Secretary Matt Hancock has resigned. Hancock was caught on CCTV footage released this week kissing an aide in breach of his own social distancing guidelines and his marital vows. You gotta love this stuff. Hancock announces his resignation on Saturday, apologizing again for breaking social distancing rules and to his family for putting them through this. We owe it to people who have sacrificed so much in this pandemic to be honest when we have let them down as I have done by breaching the guidance. A statement by Hancock read. Yeah, you've done a lot more than breaching the guidelines, bro. Yeah. I'm pretty sure your wife is not going to be too happy about these extramarital affairs. And look, ladies and gentlemen, what people do outside of, harming other people, what kind of relationships they want to have. I mean, I don't know what the agreement is with his wife. I presume, though, like most marital relationships, it's exclusive, meaning that he's not supposed to be having sex outside of sex with his wife. But ladies and gentlemen, the issue here is not about what Mr. Hancock does with his cock. The issue here is the fact that these guys not only have the boldness to try to apply these rules, try to violate our human rights, but in the same breath will set this standard for us and then do something completely different. You think they're going to abide by their guidelines? I don't think so. I think these guys are just saying this stuff to make themselves seem as if they really have the best interest at heart. They're trying to do something to reduce the spread. But do they seriously have the intention of applying these rules to themselves? And do you really think these politicians would be gung-ho to apply these restrictions, these, for instance, essential worker restrictions, if they were going to be out of a job? Have you heard a politician say, oh, well, look, government is not that important, so anyone that works in government is not considered essential, and they have to stay at home and not get paid? I don't think so, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what we have in this system. A system where essentially, this is what happens in a socialist system. The powerful control everything. The worst people typically will end up making their way into these positions of power and make laws that serve not the people, but serve them. And this is what you're advocating for, ladies and gentlemen, when you're advocating for more government, when you're advocating for more security, when you're advocating for the government to come into not just your life, but the lives of everyone else and dictate what they think is in the best interest of everyone. You know what's in the best interest for me? Of course you don't. You don't know me. And how dare you presume that you do? But for some reason, you think people that you've never met before are not entitled to rule their own lives, that you think you know what's best for them. Woo! Welcome to the crazy world we live in. So Hancock had apologized on Friday for breaking the social distancing guidelines he helped draft and said he was very sorry for letting the country down. Well, there's a start. This is something we don't often see politicians doing, unless, of course, they are unequivocally caught doing something that they shouldn't be doing. Prime Minister Boris Johnson accepted Hancock's apology, with Downing Street deeming the matter closed later that day. However, calls for his sacking proliferated in the media and online, especially given the fact that Hancock backed the resignation last year of Professor Neil Ferguson, the epidemiologist and government advisor who was caught breaking quarantine to meet with his married lover. The resignation comes after multiple Conservative MPs broke ranks on Saturday and added their voices to the chorus demanding Hancock step down. Hancock is married with 3 children and wrote in his resignation letter that he needs to be with my children at this time. Yeah, well, Hancock, like most of these crazy mofos, most of these governmentalists, these politicians, is a hypocrite, doesn't believe in your freedom, doesn't have any strong moral fiber. His morality consists of doing whatever is going to keep him in a position of influence. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a reminder that these politicians are not your friends. They're not reliable, more often than not. And if we really want to do what is in the best interest for our community, then we should live according to our own rules, to live our own life, to live in accordance to the common law, the natural law, to live a life where we're not trying to constantly enforce our will on others if they're not doing any harm. Not playing this governmental system where we try to enforce these Orwellian restrictions on people because we think they should be doing the right thing. Ladies and gentlemen, freaks and geeks, let us know what you think. Drop us some comments below. Check out the Telegram, the Instagram, all the grams. Check out the Hive posts that I've been making through Peaked. Check out the podcast. I'm on iTunes, on Stitcher. You know what it is. Illuminate your minds with wisdom, strengthen your will with love, and purge all negative thought patterns from your existence. Peace be upon your butt cheeks. Peace in the Middle East. Surya Namaskara. Namaste. And ladies and gentlemen, keep believing. Remember that regardless of how dark things seem, as long as you live and beat to the rhythm of your own heart, strive to be the change that you want to see in the world. You may not see it, ladies and gentlemen, but you are having an impact. Other people are being emboldened by your example. And you are acting as a light in this sea of darkness and inspiring others to do the same thing. And all it takes, ladies and gentlemen, is one person to make a change in this world. The future is not ordained. As a lot of these political momos want to present this idea that there's nothing you can do, it's out of your hands. Remember that it's not out of your hands, ladies and gentlemen. As long as you believe within your heart that you can change the course of history, then you can. Believe it, ladies and gentlemen, and it will become reality. Surya Namaskara, Namaste. Signing out, your chocolate Nubian. Ow!
What is liberty?
What the? Who says you can't build muscle on a vegan diet?
What's it like being a hottie in the vegan community?
There are no political solutions, only technological ones.
The economics of the system don't allow multiple competing systems to survive.
Engineering, technology, these arts of humanity, they are magic.